always felt like the way people talk about the law of attraction sounds kind of flat, like someone read a blog post, told two friends about it, and then it just started floating around the internet in little broken pieces. But there's more to it than just some theory. There's something real there, something alive, with breath and flesh, something you feel deep in your bones once you stop playing around with the fluffy spiritual wrappers and actually come face to face with this law. I know a lot of us these days have attention that slips through the cracks. Social media made us impatient. So let's just get to the point. Hit like, and let's dive in. No long intros. The law of attraction works. It always has and always will. No days off, no conditions. Not because we're good girls, or because we meditated just right. It works simply because that's what it does. Period. Just like gravity. But here's something almost no one talks about, and it might be even more important. The law of attraction never comes alone. Right next to it, holding hands, there's its shadow, the law of repelling. Because if you live in a world where yes exists, then no is just around the corner. There's joy, but also emptiness, light and darkness, polarity, duality, inhale and exhale. We often get attached to this pretty word, attraction. It sounds like a promise. Just want it, focus, and it'll show up. But life is more subtle than that. It'll test you not just by what you pull in, but also by what you're asked to let go of. Because whatever isn't a reflection of you, it can't stay. It'll start slipping away, disappearing, falling apart, like wet paper under your fingers, and you can hold on to it as tight as you want. Wake up next to it, fall asleep with it, but it'll leave anyway. Or you will. That's just how it works. Picture a magnet. It doesn't stick to everything. It won't attract plastic, wood, or silk. Just the things that respond to its core. Same with us. We don't attract what we like. We attract what resonates with who we really are. That deep, unspoken center inside. And if you want something different, if you want something new to come in, something other than what you have right now, the answer isn't out in the world. It's not in other people. It's in you. Because everything around you is a mirror. And that's not just a cute quote. It's literal. It's your reflection. And one more thing. Wherever your attention goes, your energy flows. And where your energy flows, that's where things take form. The form of life, the form of people, the form of events. And suddenly, you're sitting right in the middle of all of it thinking, why this? And the answer is, because that's where your attention went, even if you didn't mean to. That's why I keep coming back to the law of repelling. It's not the opposite. It's the other half. It's the exhale after the inhale. Everything that isn't a match for your reflection, it leaves, automatically. Not out of cruelty, not as punishment, just because that's the way it's meant to be. But us humans, we don't like letting go. We hold on to relationships where there's no more air to breathe, to dreams that have already rotted, to versions of ourselves that don't even feel warm anymore. And by holding on, we stop the law from doing its job, and so everything stays, circles around, repeats, just hangs there in the corner, like an old coat you're too sentimental to throw out, even though you'd never wear it outside again. It's simple, so simple it almost feels unfair. We're used to complications. We want systems, formulas, rituals. But this law, it's simple. We're magnets, and anything that doesn't respond to us isn't ours. Anything we don't resonate with will leave. And if right now you're thinking, but why is this still in my life? Ask yourself, who haven't you let go of? What are you holding on to like it's it's your lifeline. Because the second you let it go, it'll leave on its own. And maybe that's the most freeing truth, even if it's a little scary at first. Maybe you're thinking now, okay, I get it. But what does reflection really mean? How do I know what reflects me and what doesn't? I used to ask that too. Not in theory, but with a knot in my stomach and a feeling that if I didn't figure it out, I'd end up making the wrong choice again. End up in another room with no windows, where everything seems fine, but the air feels heavy. To explain what a reflection is, I need to talk about things we often push aside for later. About the path, the inner fire, that thing that makes you feel alive, not on paper, but in your eyes. About passion, not between people, but between you and life itself. That feeling of being so excited your fingers tremble. When you're doing something and don't care what time it is or whether anyone's watching, that's your path. Not a job, not a title, not a to-do list. It's whatever makes you feel like you again. Whatever brings back your taste for life. The sound, the light, the touch of your real self. As long as you're on that path, you attract what matches you. Because the vibration lines up. Because the universe isn't deaf. It just doesn't respond to lies. And lies are anything you do out of should. Out of this is the right way. Out of this is how everyone lives. That's lying to yourself. And this is where things get interesting. Because you can choose to feel good just because you can. No reason needed. Not because someone paid you. Not because someone complimented you. Just because you decided to. Like putting on your favorite pajamas in the middle of the day. Or drinking coffee not to wake up, but because it smells like a morning in Istanbul. But then comes the question, the trap. Why don't manifestations work for those who seem to be doing everything right? They choose to be in a good place. They meditate. They write gratitude lists. But nothing comes. Why? Because inside, there's a shadow. A system of beliefs that grabs you by the wrist and whispers, you can't let go of the past. It's not safe. You want money, but hold on to poverty because it's become part of your identity. You want love, but cling to resentment because it's like a scar. Doesn't hurt anymore, but still hasn't healed. If that belief system wasn't there, you'd let go of the old stuff easily. No struggle, no fear. You'd just say, thanks, I'm done with this now. And it would fade on its own. But as long as your hands are clinging to the past, the new can't reach you because you're full with something else. And here's something really important. You might think, but I don't want to be broke. I want a different life. But deep down, you're still holding on. Because that poverty, in some way, gives you something. And the truth is, you're not lying. You really do want freedom. But even more, you want safety and old pain. It's familiar. You know how it feels. It doesn't scare you anymore. But the new, that's scary. And that's when our most basic motivational mechanism kicks in. Super simple. We don't choose what's right. We choose what we think will help us the most, or hurt us the least. Even if the help is questionable, even if it's clearly damaging, just dressed up as something I'm used to. We humans don't live by logic. We live by what benefits us, even if that benefit is just emotional comfort. Even if we suffer from it, at least it's familiar suffering. That's our comfort zone. We've been there before. We know how to exist in it, but to choose and receive something new, you have to believe it might not be worse. It might actually be better. That if you let go, you won't fall apart. What's ahead isn't a void. It's air, and you won't fall. You'll exhale. That's why I keep saying, do what you genuinely want to do. Not because it'll bring results, but because it already brings joy, already brings love, already feels like breathing. And if you want to draw something, draw. If you want to sing, sing. If you want to record a video, even without a script, just because something inside you is itching, turn on the camera. Don't let that voice in your head whisper, "You're nobody. No one cares. Why would anyone be interested in you?" Because that's not the voice of truth. That's the voice of fear. And fear is a terrible advisor. It'll always make you doubt, delay, second guess. But it's not your enemy. It's just been in charge for too long. Now it's your turn to take the wheel. You felt it, haven't you? That tiny spark inside. Out of nowhere. You just want to. Whatever it is. Not because you have to. Not because it's useful. But because your soul is reaching for it, like grass reaching for the sun. That's your passion. That's your inner compass. It's not always loud, but it's always honest. Then logic shows up, cold, confident, holding clipboards and spreadsheets, and says, "Who even needs this? You think anyone's going to notice? You're not good enough. You can't pull it off. You're not the type." And you freeze, like someone just caught you red-handed. And suddenly, you're not sure. You stop drawing. You stop singing. You stop speaking. Because someone inside said, "You're not enough." And you believed it. That's the moment you start turning away from yourself, bit by bit, millimeter by millimeter, day after day. But what if you just allowed it? Allowed yourself to be. Allowed yourself to do things not for something, but because you want to. Allowed yourself to go toward what feels right, even if it's scary. Even if you don't know where it'll lead. Even if no one claps. Because when you choose to do something from a place of, "This brings me joy," you set off a chain of events you could never predict. You stop depending on feedback. You're not waiting for the world's likes. You just do it, like giving a gift. To yourself, to the world. Doesn't matter. And the world, it feels that. Because your true impulse is always stronger than anyone's expectations. It's like the smell of fresh bread that seeps through the walls and stirs something alive in everyone around. You're doing it from love. And that's the strongest magnet of all. Because when you choose to fully be yourself, no pretending, no holding back, you become a lighthouse, not searching for who to shine on, just shining. That's it. And that's when all the stuff that doesn't belong starts to fall away. People who no longer align, places that no longer feel breathable, thoughts that used to give you headaches, they all go. Because you're not the same person who was holding on to them anymore. But if you keep clinging, if you keep saying, "But what if?" If you live in fear and in some imagined future, you're holding on to pain. And pain, like a suitcase with no handle, just makes it harder to move forward. Heavy for you to carry, but you still feel bad tossing it out. And yet, toss it. Gently, with gratitude. Don't be mad at yourself. Don't blame. Just let go. Because what no longer matches you doesn't belong with you. This isn't about "you're not worthy." It's about your new self saying, "I'm heading towards something lighter now." And whatever pulls you down just doesn't resonate anymore. And this isn't magic. It's a law. Attraction and repelling. You're a magnet. You attract what's on your frequency. You push away everything that's fake. Everything that's no longer yours. And if you're sitting there thinking, "But I'm doing everything. I'm trying. And there's still no result," look at where it's coming from. If you're waiting for something in return, you're not in a place of having. You're in a place of longing. And longing is a form of lack. And the universe isn't dumb. You can't trick it. If you're smiling on the outside but clenched tight on the inside, it picks up on that. And it responds not to your words, but to your vibe, your essence, the real feeling inside. person, that specific message, that exact movie scene moment. And of course, that's when everything is finally supposed to fall into place, and then it doesn't, or it shows up differently, or comes through someone else, or in such a way that you don't even recognize it. That's when the disappointment hits, the doubt, the frustration, at yourself, at life, at the law of attraction. Like, it didn't work, but it did, just not the way you pictured it. It worked the way your actual inner state vibrated, not the one you imagined, because expectation is limitation. You're giving the universe a list like, only this way, please. I won't accept anything else. But it was ready to give you something bigger, softer, more complete. And you said no, because you weren't waiting for real life. You were waiting for your specific version of it. So there you are with one idea, and the universe has 1,000 options. You're stuck pushing at one locked door, getting angry it won't open. Meanwhile, behind you, the windows are wide open, the stairs are lit, the tunnels are clear, but you don't see them because you already decided it has to be like this. Ironic, right? We call out for a miracle and then tell it exactly what outfit to wear. And if we don't recognize it, we send it away. But miracles don't follow schedules. They respond to feelings, to openness. They show up when you release your grip, when you stop demanding, when you start allowing. And allowing, that's not weakness, that's power. It's not giving up. It's telling yourself, I don't know how, but I know why. I feel I need to go there, and I will. Even if it's dark, even if it doesn't make sense, you just go. Because inside, there's a yes. Because something warm is leading you. Because that's how new things are born. And when you show up, not to impress, not to get results, not to please anyone, but just because it feels good to you in that moment, that's real magic. The simple kind, the honest kind, and it doesn't matter if anyone notices, because a person who's truly alive doesn't wait for proof. They just live. They create because it makes them feel like themselves. Because if they don't, something inside starts to rust. Something gets lost. Something you can't explain, but you can feel. Like betraying your own heart. And your heart remembers. So show up, even when no one's watching. Even if all you hear back is silence. Because you're not here to perform. You're here to be. And when you choose to be, from honesty, from joy, from pleasure, that's what becomes your reflection. And anything that doesn't match, it leaves. Because it's not about you anymore. Because you stopped pretending that something still fits, when really, it's been pinching for a long time. There you are, standing in front of that impulse, the want. You want to write. You want to paint. You want to say something, not for likes, for yourself, because it's pulsing inside, because you just can't not. And right in that moment, the most alive, most important one, she shows up. Logic, all armored up, clipboard in hand, serious face on, and she starts listing. You don't know how to do this. You'll be late. Nobody cares. This is stupid. It's risky. It's embarrassing. It's laughable. And that's it. The spark fades. But logic, she's not your enemy. She's just operating on old data. She was trained by fear, taught not to take risks, not to stand out, not to mess up. She's great with numbers, with schedules, with organizing. But she knows nothing about passion, about inspiration, about beauty, because inspiration, it doesn't follow logic. It's irrational. It shows up not when you've planned everything out, but when you're doing dishes, soaking in the tub, walking down the street with a coffee, and suddenly click. There it is. And if you don't grab it, if you don't say yes, it'll you calculate every risk. So when that desire lights up in you, don't ask why. Don't look for guarantees. Just go. Just do it. Just show up. Even if it's not perfect. Even if it's silly. Even if no one gets it. What matters is that you get it. That you're alive. That you feel something. That you choose yourself. That you move. And also, remember, your logic will try to protect you. Not because she's mean, but because she's scared. Scared of failure, of judgment, of loss. Scared to feel pain again. And you can tell her, thank you. I hear you. But right now, I'm choosing something else. And that choice, that's where your freedom begins. Not freedom from fear or the past, but the freedom to be right here, right now, without conditions, without some 5-year plan, without needing to impress anyone. And maybe that's the bravest thing you can do. You know the feeling when you create something straight from your heart, when you're inspired, practically glowing, and you put something out into the world. A drawing, a thought, a video, a piece of writing, and you freeze for a second. Because now, someone's going to see it. Someone will judge it, or maybe they won't. And you catch yourself waiting for a reaction, for validation, for love. And in that moment, you're not just sharing, you're depending, not on yourself, but on someone else's opinion, their reaction, their approval, their little sign that says, you're good enough. But what if it's silent? What if no one says bravo? Or worse, someone says, what a load of crap. That's the moment that matters most. The one where you don't shrink, don't disappear, don't pull your light back in. The one where you stay. Stay with yourself, in yourself, and remind yourself, I didn't do this for them. I did this because if I hadn't, something in me would have wilted. I did it because this is me, because this is how I feel. And if you're truly okay in that moment, it won't matter how people react. Not in a cold, detached way, but in a grounded, peaceful way. I chose myself. I chose to show up, even if no one clapped, even if someone turned away, even if it scared me. Because when you choose to live from that place, that quiet, deep, loving place inside, the universe starts responding to you on a completely different level. Not with likes, not with fast success, but with meetings, with synchronicities, with openings, with the kinds of people who, just by looking at you, suddenly feel like they can be themselves. No explanations, no filters, no how it's supposed to be. And that's real attraction, because it's not coming from need or fear or some perfect formula. It's coming from truth. Have you ever noticed how tightly we hold on to the things that no longer choose us? To relationships that have become suffocating? To jobs that make us sick every morning? To old versions of ourselves that are no longer alive, just convenient? We cling, even knowing deep down that this isn't love. It's fear. Fear that if we let go, there will be nothing, that we'll be left with emptiness, that no one will catch us. So we stand there, clutching this tiny, wrong piece of life and calling it ours, because we're scared to let go, because there's a voice inside whispering, but what if it's worse? What if there's nothing else at all? But the truth is, worse is living half alive, gripping something that's already dragging you down, pretending it feels right when deep down you feel nothing. Or worse, you feel pain. But remember, what's not yours will leave on its own. It has to. The law of repelling. It's not mean. It's not punishing. It's just honest. It carries away everything that no longer fits. Everything that no longer vibrates with you. Everything that no longer reflects your real self. show you what else is possible, but only if you unclench your fist and release it. And what's in that moment isn't pain, it's release. But that kind of release doesn't come in the noise. Not while you're rushing. Not when you're trying to outsmart life or yourself, pretending you've let go, when really you're just hiding in the corner, waiting. It comes when, all of a sudden, you notice how easy it is to breathe. When the lump in your throat disappears. When you wake up and there's no pressure, just a soft sense of ease inside. Like you finally come home, inside yourself. You know when it hurts the most. When you feel like you're doing everything right. You read the books, you listen to affirmations, you do the practices. You try to choose light, to choose yourself, to choose joy. You say, I'm already in the state of having. I'm already showing up. I'm already there. But inside, silence. Or worse, irritation. Because deep down, you're still waiting. Because all this high vibration has turned into a clever trick. You tell yourself you're not waiting, but you really are. You're waiting for proof that it's working, waiting for someone to notice, to approve, to love, to give you something. Money, attention, opportunities, ease, anything at all, just to say, see, I'm on the right path. But being truly honest with yourself, it's not always inspiring. Sometimes it's quiet, like the morning light in your room when you suddenly realize, I'm not doing this out of love. I'm doing it because I'm scared I won't get what I want. And in that moment, you're back in the state of not having, even if your words are saying the opposite. And you know what? That's not failure. That's not a mistake. That doesn't mean you're a bad student in some spiritual school. It just means you're human. And your pain, it's part of you. So are your doubts. So is your impatience. That's not something to be ashamed of. That's your moment to pause and say honestly to yourself, I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of trying to prove something. I just want to be. And that's a turning point. Because when you stop playing the I'm doing it right game and start simply feeling, that's when the real stuff begins. That's when your actions become free, not driven by results, but by life itself. You start doing things not because you hope they'll change your life, but because they are your life, right now, here, not in the future, not after the applause, but in this exact moment where you're just being you. You say, I don't know what to do. I'm not sure it'll work. I don't know if anyone needs this. And I want to ask you, but do you need it right now? This urge to create something, to give something, is it coming from your head or from your heart? Because if it's from your heart, then it already has the right to exist, even if you're unsure, even if your hands are shaking, even if your mind is spinning with 1,000 reasons why no one cares. Because logic, she's like an accountant. She measures, analyzes, compares. But passion is like a child who just wants to sing, or sculpt, or draw, just because they can't not. And when you choose to create from that place, not for validation, not for usefulness, but because not creating would mean betraying yourself, that's where real life begins. The kind of life that draws things in. Real, alive, vibrating energy. Not staged, not calculated. You feel the difference, don't you? When someone's doing everything by the book, and technically it's perfect, but it feels empty. And then there's someone else, stumbling, breathing through it, not aiming for perfection. And you can't look away, because in their work, you see soul, you see honesty, you see beauty. And then it happens again. You trip over that voice inside, quiet, sharp, familiar, who even needs your singing, your videos, your drawings. And for a second, you believe it. But only for a second. Because likes or recognition or money, but I can promise you this. It's already working because you're alive, because you're honest, because you're not giving up, and everything else. It'll come. And if what you wanted doesn't come, something else will. Sometimes even better. Sometimes something you were too scared to even wish for. So imagine a person who already has it all. Not because they're special, but because they stopped waiting, stopped negotiating with life, stopped playing the someday game. They just do what they want, in the way they want, when they want, because they know that's already enough. They don't look over their shoulder. They don't shrink from other people's reactions, because joy, it's already here, because the magic is in the doing, because truth isn't found in results, it's found in the process, in the moment, but someone who still feels like they don't have it. They'll cling. They'll assign deep meaning to every little step, every reply, every word. They'll pour all their hope into each one, the kind of hope that burns. And right there, on that delicate edge, we come back to the same choice, to act from lack or from fullness, to walk the path where you're still proving something, or the path where you're simply doing because you can, because you want to. Then you say, but if I imagine one thing and something totally different happens, doesn't that mean it's not working? And I'll tell you, it is working, just not the way you pictured, because your expectations are a filter, and life doesn't like squeezing into your frames. It's bigger, deeper, more surprising. And if you let it unfold, it won't give you what you asked for. It'll give you what you didn't even know you needed, and that's the real gift. You've probably noticed this yourself. All the most important things in life never arrive on schedule. They come unexpectedly, right when you've nearly stopped believing, stopped waiting, and here you are, sitting there, maybe unsure where to begin. So I'll tell you straight, start with pleasure. What's making your chest tingle just a little right now? What's calling to you? What do you feel like doing? Even if no one sees it, no one praises it, no one says, good job, keep going. That's what you do, because that tiny spark, that's what grows into a real flame. Not from duty, not from should, but from I want to, from I love this, from I have to do this or I'll burst. And everything that no longer reflects you, that no longer fills you up, that no longer resonates, it'll leave on its own, like a person you've stopped speaking the same language with, like clothes that suddenly don't fit anymore. You don't have to keep holding on to what's been begging to leave. Just let it go. Just trust the world. And remember, you are more than anything you've ever lost or ever will lose. And if you feel lonely or scared right now, know this. That's part of growing too. Part of becoming. Part of the real you. So yes, the law of attraction is real, but not like a magic button. It's a mirror. When you shine, it shines back. When you shut down, everything goes quiet. When you open your hands, something comes in to meet you. But first, you have to believe in yourself and allow yourself. That's it for now. Thank you for staying with me all the way to the end. I'll see you in the next videos. If you have questions, write to me. I read them, even if I don't reply. Questions are beautiful because they mean you're searching. And of course, give this video a like to help it reach more people, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Big hug. Oh, and if you haven't yet watched the video about why we're glued to our phones, why we keep putting things off, and why we carry around that constant feeling of guilt, I highly recommend it. It's not a quick fix or a list of TikTok hacks. It's more like that honest talk you've been postponing with yourself about why you keep delaying what matters, why you scold yourself but keep scrolling anyway, why guilt has become a kind of background noise in your head, and what's actually hiding underneath that familiar, I'll do it later, kind of procrastination. That video won't pressure you or preach to you or blame you. On the contrary, it's soft, warm, and honest. Even if just for a minute, click the thumbnail and watch it. You might discover something really important about yourself in